Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den alongside Paul Brecht. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani. Welcome to the show, and we have got an amazing treat for you guys on this Thursday. We're so excited. I feel like this has been almost a year in the making for him to join us. But joining us in studio for the entire hour is none other than University of Hawaii football associate head coach / linebackers coach / strength and conditioning advisor, Chris Brown. CB, welcome from the Lions Den. Welcome to the Bears Den. And we're so happy to have you here today.
Good morning, guys. Thank you guys for having me on. What a great place this is, the Den, right? The Lions Den to the Bear Den.
Yes, and that's why I thought it was like, I tweeted about that. Well, I called it the Hawaii Sports Radio Den, but nonetheless, and I wore my shirt. I'll show everybody else. I wore the official Lions Den t-shirt. Are we going to expect a new shirt this season?
Yes, there's another one coming out from Defend Hawaii. So all the proceeds go back to the football team. So go grab your shirts.
Awesome. And we will definitely keep you guys posted about that. But no, in case you guys are new here, welcome. But so for our in-studio guests, we usually tend to talk about just anything and everything for the first half of the show. And then we get into the program itself that they are a part of. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to text us at 808-888-KGU1, 808-888-5481. So let's just start from the beginning, CB, Kahalu native. So tell us all about, your hometown.
Born and raised in Kahalu. Very blessed to have been from the country. Actually grew up right on the water. So learned how to swim and dive and crab and fish before I actually learned how to walk. So I was very blessed to have grown up there. To be able to grow up in a country, you really, really, really appreciate what Hawaii is, and very, very proud to be from there.
Yeah, and when along that way, swim, dive, how did you find yourself to the football field? Because, local people, we know we can get stuck either surfing or doing all of these other things, but how did you make your way to football?
My father was a huge football fan. I grew up on the NFL, while watching it with him every Sunday. And then, just kind of picked up a football. And I remember when I was 6 years old, I was watching a football game with my father, and I pointed to the TV and I said, I want to play that. I want to play that game. I want to play there. And it was from then on that I just kind of got the bug for it. And played for the Kahalu Broncos, Pop Warner football team, with some of my best friends till this day. Some great memories, and then went off and played at Damien, and moved on from there to the University of Hawaii. Yeah,
and we kind of chuckled earlier that it was kind of funny how usually when I explain to people where our studio is, I always use Farrington High School as the landmark.
How dare
that
you.
It's near. No, just because that's where a lot of people know. But when you came, I was like, oh, that's right. I could have told you that it's next to Richie's, because you know exactly where Richie's was.
Yeah, Farrington and Kamehameha are the neighbors to the greatest school in Kalihi, which is the Damien Monarchs, okay? So let's get that real clear right now. I'm very, very proud to be a Damien boy. And yes, Richie's was when we were seniors, it was the only place that we all went to. So it was seniors were able to leave campus, and that was the place that we all went to. So there was a line out the door of guys in shirt and ties, our Damien uniform, and everybody got the boneless chicken with an extra scoop of rice and mac salad.
Ooh. Now I'm gonna get hungry again. This is what always happens. I'm always hungry right in the morning. Let's go to Richie's.
It's so fun, to hear stories like that, and I'm sure that there are so many young players now who kind of hear that and they're like, "No, wait a second. That's something we do, or something. It sounds like something that we do." And it's just fun to hear that the sport of football continues that way, and growing up like a kid continues to be that way.
Yeah, and So going back to when you used to watch football, though, who do you have a favorite NFL team back then? I'm sure it's changed now because you're in the game, you're coaching, and you've seen, which we'll get to later, your former players land on NFL teams as well. But growing up, and maybe even now, do you have a team that you particularly root for?
I grew up a Minnesota Vikings fan. My dad's the biggest Minnesota Vikings fan there is. Sorry, NFL
okay.
Central.
Shout out to Scott Robbs of Spectrum Sports. He's a Vikings fan.
Yeah. And it kind of all went in the same way from the purple for the Minnesota Vikings to the purple at Damien, and then I ended up playing at the Baltimore Ravens, which is purple as well. So, but growing up, I was a huge Vikings fan, still am. But it's all because of my father. I mean, everything was Vikings in our home.
Okay, I kind of like that little purple connection to all of your teams.
I was gonna say, purple. It's nice
purple
to have
people leaders.
It's nice to have that the singularity all the way through. Besides, it's the color of royalty, is it not?
Yes, that's the exact tie. Good one. Good point out by you there, Paul. See, Paul's getting
Damien is royalty. So let's be clear on that. Okay?
Exactly.
The greatest high school here in Kalihi. Let's just say that we're gonna go down with that. What is that? Kamehameha schools on top of upper campus. That's exactly what that is. No, but okay, mostly purple, but you did have a little sprinkle of green there. So did you know, it was always going to be the University of Hawaii that you wanted to continue your football career?
No, actually, I got the bug when I was a sophomore in high school, sophomore and junior year. My coach from Damien took me on a trip to the University of Washington. And I didn't know anything really much about college football. He kind of opened my eyes. His son played there at the time, so kind of took me through the locker room, through practice, and it was right then and there. I said, I want to play college football. But, at Damien, it's pretty limited as to how many schools come through there, how many schools actually recruit. And I tried out at University of Hawaii had a combine at the school, and I tried out, and I actually came first in every category there was, whether it was the 40-yard dash, obstacle course, the 225 bench press. I actually won every single one of them, and one coach, his name was Guy Benjamin, who I have so much respect for at the time. He was under Coach Von Oppen, offered me a scholarship, and it was the first time Damien had a Division I football player in years. And it was kind of a big deal for all of us, for my friends and for myself, my family. And then went off, and it was kind of a rough road because I didn't pass my SATs. So, so get this. So I took the SAT 13 times, and then I took the ACT 2 times. So 15 times in order to get into college. Because at the time you needed the SAT. Mm-hmm. Now I can't believe you don't even need it anymore.
So
but anyway.
I was going to say, I was like, didn't they cut that requirement?
Yeah,
I know it happened during like COVID or something that that a lot of stuff really got cut. But I was like, isn't that not a thing anymore? I would be like, that's so unfair. They should take a standardized test.
No, exactly. And you had to pay $50 every single time. But anyway, it kind of. It was kind of a different kind of road that I had to take, but they honored my scholarship. I did have to go to Leeward Community College to get my grades up, and then I came in. It was a blessing because Coach June Jones came in 1999 of that spring, and I was his first guy on scholarship, and pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of that, and I was able to not waste the year, that 0-12 season in 1998, and then went off. With this team, Coach Jones comes in and turns the whole program around, and I was a part of that 99 team and started some games there, as a true freshman. And then it was a pretty cool career I had at the University of Hawaii.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that, just as a player to experience that change, and maybe a couple of the things that stood out as to what was so different about Coach June and how he was able to do that at the University of Hawaii.
We thought that he was off his rocker when he came in. He came into that spring, our very first meeting as a team, and he came in and he put up the schedule on the board in the lecture hall, and he said, "We're not going to win this game," which was USC at the time. Carson Palmer, very very good, very good team. Then he said, we're going to win these next 3, and then we got to win one of these 2. We're not going to win this game, and we're going to do this and do this, and we're going to have the biggest turnaround in NCAA history. We looked at each other like he doesn't know we just went 0-12. Like he's nuts. But he was so confident. And he says that we are going to have the most prolific offense in the country. We are going to pass for this many yards. Defense is going to get after it by bringing Coach Greg McMackin in, who is the creator of the U defense.
Mm-hmm.
And, we looked at him and we said, okay. So we started working. And then when we beat who do we beat? We beat, actually, let's start off with USC. We got our butts whooped by 60. And then we went on and we beat Eastern Illinois. And then from there we just started rolling. And then it got to that game where we went into triple overtime against Fresno State and we won the WAC championship. The greatest feeling in the world, especially for me, because I ain't never won crap in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I went to Damien, you know what I mean? I mean, yes, it is the greatest school in Kalihi, but we didn't win much. We won maybe 3 games, and for me to win a championship, like a championship in anything, it was the greatest feeling in the world. But that's when, Coach Jones, that legendary status began. It was from that.
Yeah, and like you said, you were able to be a part of that. All right. We're going to continue our conversation about your time at the University of Hawaii, but I do want to step aside for a break because I feel like the next things we're going to talk about, because we do got to talk about your teammate and now who you coach alongside, Timmy Chang, because I know you have some fun stories to share about him. But we're going to take our break first as we are joined by University of Hawaii football associate head coach, linebackers coach, and strength and conditioning advisor, just like the long resume of Chris Brown. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a couple minutes on Wake Up in the Den.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ule Agbayani, Paul Brecht, and we are joined in studio by UH football associate head coach Chris Brown. But before we get into the current University of Hawaii program, we are taking a trip down memory lane and chatting about CB's time playing for the University of Hawaii, 98 to 2002. Now, a couple years into your career there, some young kid comes and takes over the helm at quarterback in 2000. So tell us a little bit about playing alongside Timmy Chang. And because you are on the opposite side of the football, tell all the beautiful people about the funny stories that you guys would give him a hard time during practice.
Well, first of all, Timmy came in with all these accolades and all this stuff that he was. And us as defensive players, we don't like that stuff. You got to earn your right to be on the football team. I don't really care, how great you were in high school. And now you're a quarterback. You got a little chip on your shoulder. So we definitely gave him a really, really hard time. But Timmy came in there and he tried to find his way, through practice. But he met guys like myself and Pisa Tinoy Samoa and Kiani Alapa, and we hate quarterbacks. So there's a lot of things that went down. There's a lot of bad words that were being said across the line to get into his head. Particularly Pisa was notorious for calling him every name in the book, telling him how crappy he was. How he's he's a nobody in college we would do 7-on-7 and, he would throw an interception and we grab the ball and beam him back with it, and then we call him names or, we get the interception and we throw the ball so far that he'd have to run off and go get the ball on the other field, stuff like that, in the locker room. It would start in the locker room when we'd be walking out and we'd be telling him all the different things that we're going to do to him that day.
Sounds like older sibling things.
Yeah.
There was lots of times when he was going to run off for practice and he couldn't find his helmet, and it just happened to be in my locker. And I said, "You want it? You can come get it." Stuff like that. He really got it when he got hurt, and he couldn't play. He claims to this day it was his hand. We said it was his pinky. And we still call him a wimp for it. I mean, still to this day, I told him, I said, man, when you broke your pinky, he goes, CB, I didn't break my pinky, I broke my hand. I couldn't throw, and I was just like, yeah. But he also knew though that we were his big brothers, and he knew if there's anything that ever went down that he could call 54 to come over and help him out, and I'd be there in a second, and that's why our relationship is tight to this day, because I gave him a hard time, but at the same time, you mess with him, man, you're gonna I'm gonna come after you, So I was always very protective of him, and I love him. I mean, to this day, when he called me to come back and coach, I knew it was the right thing to do. It was me coming back and helping him, supporting him, just like when we played.
Mm-hmm. And what you guys are, just even still scratching the surface of building here at the University of Hawaii is nothing short of amazing, considering what limited resources we have compared to some of the other schools in the Mountain West as well, with all the new facilities other schools have. But we, the fans, and of course all of us in the sports media trust everything that you guys are building, which we will get to in just a little bit. But keeping with our, going back down memory lane, 4-year starter at the University of Hawaii.
Yep.
And then tell us a little bit about preparing for the NFL draft, how that process went, going as an undrafted free agent and then getting picked up with the Baltimore Ravens.
It was a dream come true for me. I mean, there's so many crazy things that happened. Rob DeMello, I was his first interview when I signed with Baltimore. Yeah, I think it was super cool. I still got pictures of it. Rob was this little kid,
little baby Rob.
Yeah,
Gosh.
But I was his first interview, and he came to my house in Kahalu, and I love the pictures because my son at the time was like 4 years old. And my mom was still around, she passed, but I mean, she was in the pictures, and it was such a great memories to look at those things. But it's kind of crazy that the whole draft goes by, and I'm sleeping on the floor watching the TV, the ticker, and and like I'm just waiting because it's on the East Coast, and I'm waiting. My agent is calling me, and I'm nervous, and the first couple of rounds go by. It's a little different now. Now, before it was only 2 days. And the second day comes around, and I remember sleeping on the floor, 4:30 in the morning. The phone rings. It's the San Diego Chargers, San Diego at the time, San Diego Chargers, and it's the defensive coordinator, and he says, "Hey, Chris, we're thinking of taking you with the fourth pick, and it's between you and Matt Wilhelm from Ohio State. So it's up to Coach Schottenheimer to make that decision. But I like what you do, and I'm I want you to be here." So I'm watching the ticker, and then all of a sudden I see Matt Wilhelm's name go across the board. It really broke my heart, And then I watched the 5th round go by, the 6th round go by, the 7th round go by, and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening, I'm better than all these guys, I mean, that's what I've always felt,
Yeah.
But anyway, as soon as when the 7th round came, my agent called me, and he said, "Okay, we got a couple of teams that want you to sign," and it was the Philadelphia Eagles, it was the Tennessee Titans, and it was also the San Diego Chargers, and I was going to go to Philadelphia, and then as soon as I was about to give them my commitment and tell them I was going to go there, Mike Singletary calls me from Baltimore, from the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh.
And I can't believe that I'm talking to my childhood hero.
Mm-hmm.
This was the guy that I watched, and I said, I want to play just like this guy. And so he said, hey, my nephew is Coach Vance Singletary, that was our D-line coach at the University of Hawaii. He told us all about you. I got to watch your film. And I said, he said, I'd really like for you to come to Baltimore. And I said, I'm speaking to my childhood hero. In my locker at Damien Memorial High School, I had a huge poster of Ray Lewis, and it was like, oh my goodness, okay, like I'm supposed to be here. So I ended up going to Baltimore, signing with Baltimore, and that was a real huge culture shock, going from the beautiful Hawaii to Baltimore, Maryland. And you talk about I mean, not saying that the people are mean there. It's just they're a lot different, you know.
You can say they're mean. I'm
Yeah,
from the
okay.
East Coast.
Yeah,
he's from the East Coast.
Yeah, you know, like nobody's really friendly over there. You won't get a shaka out the window, you know.
Yeah.
No.
You know, where you're trying to turn left, nobody's letting you turn left. You know, you know. But you know, it was pretty cool to go from Hawaii to Baltimore to be there with guys like Mike Singletary, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. And then that's where I met our current defensive coordinator, Dennis Thurman.
Yeah, and actually, you were telling Paul and I during the break a nice story about DT and Mike Singletary, and also Rex Ryan as well. But just share with everyone what you shared with us about Dennis Thurman.
So, you know, going as an undrafted free agent, you know, it's tough because you're kind of the bottom of the barrel. Yes, you're in the NFL, but you still have to earn your way up, and they treat you like that. You know, they're not the nicest guys.
You became Timmy?
Yeah, you know, but the difference was I fought back. Timmy didn't. Yeah, anyway, but while I was there, everybody's pretty cold. I was lucky to know a couple of players on the football team. Make Kemoyatu out of Kahuku was my roommate. Joe Salavea ended up becoming close friends, best friends, and they were on the team at the time. And but other than that, nobody. But the coaches were pretty cold. You had to earn your way up. But there was 3 coaches in particular that were very kind to me. They respected me. They actually helped me with the playbook. They took the time to ask me how I was doing. And one of them was Mike Singletary, my linebackers coach. The other one was Rex Ryan, our defensive line coach. And then the last one was Dennis Thurman. Dennis Thurman was the DB coach at the time. He just got done working with Ed Reed, and you know, Ed Reed's legacy and his time was huge in the things that he did. But it was a lot of it had to do with Coach Thurman. But I never forgot meeting Coach Thurman. Him asking me every day. He used to call me Hawaii. He said, "Hey, Hawaii, how you doing today? You know, how's the family?" And you know, ask me, and then he say, "You need any help with the playbook?" And he was just very helpful, and I never forgot that. So when the defensive coordinator position came up at the University of Hawaii, his name was one of the candidates, and I saw that, and my ears perked. And I got to speak to him on the phone, and I told him, I said, "Coach, I don't think you remember exactly what you did for me." I said, "But I never forgot that." I said, "Kindness goes a long way." It's the way I was raised. Respect, you know, respect, kindness, treating people kind. And I never forgot that time when you checked on me, you asked me, you helped me. You know, you asked if I was okay, and you know, every day you had a smile and you called me Hawaii, and I never forgot those things. You know, and long story short, you know, 2 days later, you know, we hired him as a defensive coordinator, and it's really great to be back with the guy now.
I love that full circle moment.
It kind of feels, I was going to say, it goes back to what our conversation was before, where it almost seems like every step of your journey has been like, all right, well, there's this, what's it called? The invisible string theory type of deal, where everything is connecting all the way through, whether it's, you know, always wanting to grow up playing football, then you end up playing for your home school.
Yeah.
You continue your little purple journey there between the teams.
Yeah.
You meet DT, and now you guys get to help put Hawaii back where you helped experience back in the golden days back now.
Yeah, I think we're really going to love this defense. I think Hawaii's going to love this defense. You know, very, very, very aggressive, downhill, you know, defense that I think these boys are going to love because they can own it themselves. So if you remember the Baltimore Ravens defense back in the day, I mean, this is what you're looking at. So it's really exciting.
I'm excited. And actually, we have a Maki autograph football over there, by the way. I just
Hey,
forgot. Yeah, it's
look
like
at
the
that.
Baltimore Ravens.
That was
So
my
it's all,
roommate.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all coming full circle. I was like, wait a minute. We do have the autograph over there.
It's that string once again. I just
Exactly.
told
It's
you,
all
you know?
tying together.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take our next break. But when we come back, we'll get into, you know, spend a couple of years at Baltimore, and then your coaching journey begins here back in Hawaii. So when we come back, we will chat about that next on Wake Up in the Den.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den alongside Paul Brecht. I'm Ku'ulei Agbayani, and we are joined in studio by University of Hawaii football associate head coach / linebackers coach and strength and conditioning advisor, Chris Brown. All right, we went through your time, growing up, some playing time at Damien, to the University of Hawaii, Baltimore Ravens. Spent a couple of years in Baltimore, and then you come back home to start your coaching journey. So did you always feel like you wanted to be a coach, like once your playing career was over? Or is that something you thought about when it was officially over and thought, hey, maybe I still want to stay in football?
Yeah, I needed an outlet. I mean, I was so when you play football, it consumes you so much, and it takes over everything that you do in life. And when it's not there, you got to find something, or else you feel lost. So coaching was in my heart to do. I think that I was a natural leader, and I felt that I was very blessed in my life through football, all the great things that happened to me. Going off to playing in the NFL, from being this boy from Kahalu, like dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
But kids just need guidance, and so I kind of use that, as a way of saying, okay, this is my way to give back, and it's their turn now to go and experience those things and enjoy it, and learn along the way. So Craig Stutzman, my old teammate, was the JV coach at St. Louis High School, and he put together a bunch of ex-players and friends that played football, and that was our very first coaching gig. Was JV football at St. Louis High School. And I'm very grateful to St. Louis, even though I'm a Damien boy.
I was like, must have kind of like tugged at you a little bit, like, oh, yeah. Do I go here? Or
no, and the thing was they knew I was a Damien boy too, but they welcomed me like family, and I'm very grateful to this day. We moved up, and then we ended up going up on the varsity level, and that's when we had Marcus Mariota as a quarterback, which was very special to see and be a part of. We had this young phenom, 7th grader, who was throwing dimes and threw better than anybody else, and his name was Tua Tagovailoa. And we saw him as a 7th grader, and we said he was going to be real special. But to be a part of that at St. Louis, unbelievable, grateful, and and then from there, I decided to go back to Damien. So I ended up going back to Damien, became the defense coordinator there under Eddie Kleneski, another University of Hawaii legend. And I spent 2 years there. And then I kind of got into a place in my life where I was going through some personal stuff, and I just needed a change. And then out of the clear blue sky, I get a call 4:30 in the morning from the head coach at Bishop Gorman. And his name was Kenny Sanchez, and he said, "Hey, Coach, we'd like for you to come up and be the linebackers coach at Bishop Gorman," which was very cool. And I was like, "Well, how do you hear about me?" I didn't know who he was. I had a young sophomore at St. Louis High School named Nella Otukolo, and he played with me as a sophomore. Then he transferred to Bishop Gorman. We went up to Bishop Gorman, and he ended up changing a lot of the culture there, bringing the Polynesian culture there. Him and Haskell Garrett, who went off to play at Ohio State, they changed the culture there. And he brought that toughness, that hard-hitting downhill, ended up becoming the 2-time defensive MVP in Nevada. And they said when he graduates, whoever taught that kid how to play linebacker is going to be the next linebacker coach. They had no idea. They said, go find him. And that was me. Isn't that crazy?
They found him.
They found me. So, I know it's kind of like, okay, well, it's high school gig, right? I mean, how do you make a living out of this? Is there a separate job? He goes, oh, no, Bishop Gorman's a little different. Yeah, it's a salary. It's a full salary. And I'm like what? I had no idea what they're all about, And it was perfect timing because we talk about the line, Paul, all these things lining up. And this one kind of lined up where it was like, okay, it's time to go. try something different. Packed my stuff 2 weeks later and went up to Las Vegas and had a great time in Las Vegas, coaching with some big time football players. Yeah?
We all love Las Vegas. Let's be honest here. Everything's gonna be fun in Las Vegas. I think that's funny to bring up though, like how you said, like, oh wait, what? A salary? Like I can coach high school football full time.
Yeah,
this is interesting.
Yeah, it's something that the big time programs do. The big programs across the country, they invest into their football team because that brings in a lot of the kids, and it wins championships, and you need full time coaches there. Texas does that a lot. And we kind of got Bishop Gorman has that same idea. Just pouring into the kids and developing these kids and having coaches around there 24/7. And I was hired there and was there for 7 seasons, 7.5 years and 7 seasons. So it was great. Had some really good football players that I coached out there, unbelievable players. Most recently, Roma Dunze.
Yeah, go Bears.
I was going to say,
it sounds familiar.
Somebody in this studio really likes Roma Dunze, and it might not even be CB who likes him the most.
I have yet to post the video of when we were having a live show as the draft was going on, and I literally jumped for joy when they selected him, because obviously wanted Caleb Williams number 1, but I had my eye on Rome because it's just he was able to do, like, he was just such a good player that stood out this last season. I'm like, what? Like I want that guy to be a Bear, and I was just so stoked. And then realizing the connection, like when we were at the Pac-12 championship and you were cheering for him for UW, and I'm like, oh, that's right, and it's a bonus. I'm like, all right, we got that Bear connection there.
We were 1 pick away, Koo. We were 1 pick. I wanted him to be a New York Jet so badly. So my boy Garrett Wilson, but it's fine. It's fine. He's in a really awesome place.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right, so significant time, 7 seasons at Bishop Gorman. Yep. Now, when the head coaching position opened up here at the University of Hawaii, did you have any inclination that Timmy was interested in the gig? When did you find out? When did you get that phone call? And just tell us about what went through your mind and the decision. What seems like it was a no-brainer decision to come and help Timmy Chang rebuild this program.
When that position came open, it was just crazy. And people are gonna. I knew in my heart it was gonna be Timmy. I just knew. I knew he was gonna be the guy. And I just kind of let it just develop. And everybody was saying Coach Jones, and these different names was popping up. But I just knew inside my heart, as much as I love and respect Coach Jones, I know that it was going to be Timmy. And so when they did announce it, they announced it on the news. Timmy calls me, and the phone's ringing. I'm with my whole family, and they see the phone ringing, and it says Coach Timmy Chang across my thing, and I'm just like, whoa. So I answer it, and it's Timmy, and he says, hey man, we got to rebuild this, and I need you to come back. And I had a really good gig at Bishop Gorman. It had a really good deal there. I love working there. Facilities and the way those boys work up there in Bishop Gorman is different. And I had a really good deal, and I just got promoted, to the associate head coach there as well. Mm-hmm. And it was in a really good place. Then he calls me and he says, I need you to come home. And I was like, man, Tim, I got a good thing going. And he says, Hawaii needs you. I said, shut up with that crap.
Dang it.
I said, just tell me you want me to help you, man. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Drop that one on there.
He knew that was going to tug at the heartstrings.
I was going to say, he knows
bro,
the strings
Hawaii
to pull.
Needs you. And I said, Tim, stop that. Please, man. You know who you're talking to right now? Anyways, so I said, yeah, I knew in my heart that coming back to coach was my dream. To come back and to give back to a school that gave us so much. It was our turn to come back, and build this thing back up again. So I knew it was time. It was really, really hard for me to leave Gorman. I have a great relationship with all those players there, and And you can see it. I mean, we just got another one committed, to the University of Hawaii, and that's going to put 9 of them, with me, at UH. But I knew it was time, and then we came together. We walked out on a football field for the very first day, and we saw the team, and we said, "Oh, we got our work cut out for us." It was like, "Wow, man, this team is pretty decimated. It's pretty thinned out." And we stayed at it. And everything Timmy's doing is the right way. He's doing it the right way, and that's the reason why I'm here and I'm supporting him. I'm being the big brother in this thing because he's building the young men up. He's building their character. He's building them to be the next leaders in the community and in the world. And he's helping them to just be good human beings, And then we're teaching them the hard work. We're teaching them the discipline part, the mentality, and then we're also teaching them about the history of the University of Hawaii football. I mean, that's huge. You got to know, and I think that kind of got lost, like the 92 team and all these different greats that came. You got to know who these alumni are. When they walk on campus, you need to know these things. These are greats that the reason why you have a locker room, you have a football field, you actually can play these games because of those guys. And that's what Timmy's bringing. And, I support him through it all.
Yeah, and I think that's been the great thing to see is the alumni come back and feel welcomed to come back to campus. And I even chatted with my friends like Aaron Kia, one of my classmates from Mililani that played at UH, that they go to the games every Saturday, where for quite a few years in that time, they're like, oh, nobody wants to go. We don't feel welcomed. Yeah. But now to see that, and you have like Mike Lafayette kind of helping to bring more and more alumni to come and support the program, who's coaching up the road here too with another. He has like his whole former UH stuff, like nasty Nate over there too. I'm like, wait a minute, we're gonna see Farrington over here, which is great to see. But no, and then we had Rocky Savainaya, whose son just had committed as well over the weekend. Tell us about what stood out to him is the emphasis and the amount of importance that the program now and what Keiki is doing as well, putting on life after football, because that's really important, because not everyone's going to be in the NFL or have long careers in the NFL. Yeah. So I think if you can kind of share a little bit more about that goal of the program in itself, where obviously we're going to take care of what's on the field because we want to win and the wins will come, but just focusing on those other aspects of life.
Yeah, when we left the University of Hawaii, everybody had the intentions of going off and playing in the NFL. I thought I was going to play 20 years, and I barely, cracked out 2. And it was one of those where it's like, okay, what now? When football's gone, like, what do you do now? And that's what Timmy wants to give these boys, these young men is something to do after football is done. What are you guys going to do? And we're creating different avenues for them with the unions, with different entrepreneurs and different businesses, in every aspect. And we're bringing them in, and we're having them speak to the team. Keiki does such a great job with, getting their resumes together, asking them what they want to do, getting them apprenticeships, and getting them these opportunities to feel it out, to see if this is something that they want to do. We recently had HPD come in. HPD did a whole thing with a former football player, Jonathan Kauka, who came in, and they just gave such a good thing to these guys, saying, once you're done with football, come be a police officer. We want you, And now these boys are like, wow. When they left, they're like, okay, I can see myself as a cop. This is what I want to do. I want to be an officer. But you're giving them something to think about, because that was the issue when we left. There wasn't anything. It was, okay, you're off on your own. Go figure it out. And in today's world, like, it's going so fast that you need to have a plan. I always tell the boys, like, there is no plan B. It's a plan A. And if plan A doesn't work, you go to your next plan A. You don't settle for anything, but you guys do something that you guys want to do at 110%. And when you're young at this point and you can figure out, okay, well, I like the police department, but the fire department is where I want to be. okay, well, at least you tried it in college. You got to feel it out. You did a little apprenticeship. You got to do some visits, and you said to yourself, okay, once I'm done with football, I want to be a firefighter. So yeah, Kegi's been doing a great job. Timmy's been doing great with pushing it and supporting it and building these guys up. It's my job to, especially in the weight room, to build their discipline, their mindset, that hard work mentality. And then now you give them these avenues and let them take it off now.
I love it. Love what you guys are building over there. But we do need to take our last break. When we come back, we will dive into all about the University of Hawaii program and what you guys are building and what we can expect to see this upcoming season.
Mm-hmm.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a minute on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network.
Wake up in the den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
It's Wake Up in the Den. Excuse me. Woo. Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht, and of course joined in studio by University of Hawaii football associate head coach and linebackers coach and strength and conditioning advisor, Chris Brown. All right. Here we are. This is the year. We can feel it. I mean, Paul and I know coaches can't get involved in this, but Paul and I have always been saying the over in the total of wins and we were right last year. We are going to be right again this year because I think it's at like 4.5 and we're like, easy peasy. What is that?
Not in the business of being wrong, Koo.
It'll be awesome when I said it when the national television schedule came out. I was like, it was going to be awesome when we upset UCLA like on national TV. What is that? And Boise as well because they're coming to our turf. So that'll be a nice time.
This is the first time I'll get to see Boise and UH play against each other in my Hawaii tenure because I didn't get it my very first year, and I definitely didn't get it last year either. So I'm excited about that one because we get them at our place too, don't we?
Yes.
We
not
me,
on the Smurf turf.
Known member of the UH football team, Paul Brecht.
All right. So what can University of Hawaii fans look ahead to this season as we look to start getting a lot of those wins tallied?
It took 2 years, but those players that were sophomores and freshmen are now juniors and seniors now. So the maturity level has grown. They're there physically, mentally. We brought in the right recruits to supplement and fill in and be those guys in those positions. The scheme has changed, and it's a scheme, especially on defense, that is Hawaii football, I believe. And bringing a coach back like Coach Dan Morrison to help with the run and shoot, and he's been such a bright spot for the offense because he's so soft and he's so knowledgeable, and when he talks to you, it's just like this gentle voice that fills you up with confidence, and the boys love him. You have all of that, and then you have these guys in the weight room that are killing it right now. I mean, their numbers are off the chart right now. They're bigger, faster, stronger. We brought in Kenny Patton, former teammate of mine, to help with the speed training. Coach Ryan Ishihara has been great with helping on the speed and on the strength program. He's doing a great job too. And now the boys' mentality is different. That's the whole thing, right? You can be a fast player, strong player. You can be 6'5". It doesn't matter. If you don't have the right mentality, then you can't win games. These boys are so hungry to win that they can taste it. They could feel it last year against Air Force, Colorado State. They could feel it, and they actually knew like they're actually a really good football team. Now they have to learn how to win. And once they learn how to win, and this thing becomes like a constant thing, they're going to take it over. And now is the time we feel is they're ready to do it. And it's really exciting to see how they hold themselves accountable now, and how the standard has just changed, because now it's like there is no losing. There's no such thing as losing. We're going to win. And to see these boys, like for example, I give these guys numbers in the weight room that are practically impossible to reach. And they're bypassing it now. So now I have to refigure this whole thing and say, okay, I gotta put more reps, or I have to make this thing heavier. And then once I get it and do that, they bypass it again because they're pushing themselves to a level of this, like, we're going to win no matter what, but this is the we feel as a coaching staff, like, this is the year.
I mean, that fired me up. It's fun to hear that type of stuff, though, because that's the work that you don't necessarily get to see. Like, we get the spring practices at times. You get the summer camps and you see that. But it's totally different when you get inside the weight room and you see how hard these guys are grinding just to make it so that their bodies can survive the Division I football season, especially at the level at which you guys are trying to play at going into this 2024-25 season, hopefully into 25, big goals. But it's fun to hear about that type of thing because it's an insight into the type of thing that players don't necessarily get the credit for all the time.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm glad to hear you say it, because Paul and I have been harping on it for like the last couple of years that, we're going to win. We are a good team. They're doing the right things. But to hear it come from you, the associate head coach in the program that's part of the grind every single day, I think is good for all of the fans listening to hear, just to gain that confidence again. If in case there were still some of the few doubters out there, which there always are, let's face it, it's the University of Hawaii. It's our professional team. So it's always going to be under a microscope for fans. But I just love how you put it there, where this is going to be the year.
Yeah, and it's just because if you can see the difference between the first year and now. And you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their work ethic. Before, they were just going through motions, kind of just lost, just kind of just following directions. I taught them something, so I taught them to do 8 pull-ups. Okay, I'm using this as an example. So when I first took this strength thing over, they literally did eight pull-ups, and you had guys that could probably do 15 to 20 more, but they stopped at 8 because that's what their mind is. Their mindset is, well, it says 8, I'm going to stop at 8. But my thing is this: 8 is the minimum. Push yourself to a level that it just bypasses this thing and just goes. You go for as many times as you can until your body's exhausted. So now when I put the number 8 up there, some of these guys are doing 20 to 25. And I say, that's the thing that I can't coach. I can't coach. If I tell you to do 8 and it's too late, guys, go. Keep going. Keep pushing yourself to a limit that you've never gone to. And if you transfer that to the football field and you understand that you have to dominate from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, that through pain, you have to push yourself through the pain, through adversity when you guys are down, and you push yourself to that level of, I'm going to come back, I'm going to catch that ball, I'm going to make that block, I'm going to throw that pass. And if you have that mindset, the only thing that can stop you is you. And that's where they're at right now. They're at that point where they don't want to lose. And that's the thing that I'm confident in when I'm watching them. Not only their physical part, but I'm watching their mentality, and it's like, holy smokes, can't get them off the field, can't get them out the weight room. You know what I mean? They're constantly working and working and working. And you put that on the football field with the right scheme, I think we have success.
I love it. We gotta love to hear it. If anyone's not fired up, then I don't know. Like,
you don't have a heartbeat. You don't have a pulse.
Ready to go. All right, we have just over about like a minute and a half left with UCB. So maybe, I know, unless
you gotta bring me back.
Unless you can hang out some more, we can do an after-hour segment.
Oh, I gotta get back to meetings.
Okay, but we'll bring you back. We'll definitely bring you back.
Gotta prep for a big weekend.
We'll bring you back. Maybe do Zoom things throughout the season, because that's kind of easier from the office. But no, just about a minute left. So I will give you the last minute, and just to say whatever you need to say for all of the University of Hawaii football fans and just the state of Hawaii, all the millions of people listening to us right now.
To all the faithful fans out there, thank you for all the years of support. Thank you for supporting Coach Chang and this football team. There's great things that are headed our way, and it's all going to work its way out. And everything that you guys been cheering for us for, is all going to come to pass. I believe it in my heart. I believe when you do things the right way, good things come out of it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do things the right way instead of the quick, easy way. We want to build, we want to build the culture back. University of Hawaii is a great, great place. The football program has so much history and such a great legacy, and we want to bring that back. And we want to build it the right way so that it'll last forever and ever and ever.
And perfectly said. Mahalo to CB for joining us. For Paul, I'm Ku'ule. Mahalo for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Home of the Dallas Cowboys, KGU AM K236CR Honolulu is the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network on 95.1 FM and AM 760.